Going back some years, Tzipi, your father, Eitan, was operations chief of the Irgun during the British Mandate. Please briefly describe how the British captured your father and how he escaped 2 years later from the famous Acre Prison break.
Well, my father and my mother, both of them were freedom fighters, not terrorists. And no, it's very important to say this, not because it's about my parents, because they acted against the British Army and not against civilians. And this is a distinction that needs to be made also today. I cannot accept the words that says that one terrorist is the other freedom fighter. It's not. Terrorists are using terror and are acting against civilians deliberately, and this is basically the distinction. And secondly, it's about my parents. But both of them, my parents, were in prison. My father was the chief of operation of the Irgun, and he was the head of the operation in order to break the walls of Acre Prison, something that led at the end of the day, or part of the symbols that were for the British mandate, and led to the British decision to leave the land of Israel. It was before the creation of the state. And I have a better story about my mother. She was in a British prison, and she wanted to escape. And she asked somebody to inject her its milk that causes symptoms of an illness. And they took her to the operation room. And when the doctors left to wash their hands of something, she jumped from the second floor. And this is the way she escaped. So talking about parents and about history of, not me personally, but of these fighters that fought for the creation of the state, I have also something to be proud of.
So you're the only person in Israel that your Mossad training started before birth, it sounds like. Yeah.
What is the nature of decisions that are needed in order to end the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians? The only leader who can do so is the one who understands that time is of the essence, that the price of not having an agreement is higher than the price of making an agreement, and is determined to do so. And there is no hope for peace with Hamas. I mean, Hamas cannot accept the right of Israel to exist. For more than 4 years, they refused to say that Israel has the right to exist or to renounce violence and terrorism, or to accept former peace treaties, the Oslo Agreement between Israel and the Palestinians. So it's not about punishing the Palestinians. I don't want to punish the people. I feel empathy for the people who live in Gaza Strip. And it's not even punishing Hamas because they target Israel. But since there is no hope with Hamas, and since they are targeting Israel, we need to act in a military way to do so. When I know that the Israeli soldiers are looking for terrorists to kill, when there are also, unfortunately, civil casualties on the way in any military attack, and especially when this is highly populated center, and the terrorists are hiding among civilians. Now, the loss of a child to a Palestinian mother and an Israeli mother, American mother, is an horrific, unthinkable pain. So this is something that, unfortunately, there are families that are paying the price of the conflict, both sides. But I expect the international community not to turn a blind eye to our activities and our decisions, whether this is the operation in Gaza or the war in Lebanon that started after unprovoked attack by Hezbollah in Israel, sovereign Israel. But it is part of an understanding that there's a difference between, as I said before, the difference between freedom fighter and a terrorist, a difference between a soldier and a terrorist. The terrorist is looking for children to kill, for teenagers in the line to the discotheque in Tel Aviv, as they did in restaurants, in buses, in the streets, in their beds, in schools, in kindergartens. So it's not about the price that civilians are paying in Israel and in the Palestinian Authority, but about decision making. And there are decisions that were made in order to defend civilians, and I'm proud to be part of a government that could and gave or regain deterrence to Israel against terror.
Please explain your quote. When the state of Israel has to do the right thing, it has to be done. Condemnation or no condemnation, statements or no statements, arrest warrants or no arrest warrants. This is the role of leadership. And as far as I'm concerned, I would repeat each and every decision.
Yes, but don't be mistaken. I wish we can make all these decisions with the support of the international community. I'm not looking for clashes with the world, with the international community. I'm not looking for more United Nations resolutions that condemn or criticize the state of Israel. But as a cabinet minister, and in my first meeting with Ban Ki-moon when I was foreign minister, I asked him to sit for a moment on my chair and to take in consideration what needs to be done in order to give peace and security to not only to the region but also to our citizens. Israel is under attack by terrorist organizations. Israel made decisions, I made decisions, well, I was part of decision making to take our forces out of Gaza Strip, to dismantle all the settlements in order to give hope for peace in the region, but Hamas took Gaza Strip hostage. And they targeted Israel and our civilians on a daily basis. So what can a leader do in order to defend its citizens?